guys, it's me. I'm back. This time with something a little bit different. I want to talk about a movie today. I recently saw a certain movie, that's been getting mixed reviews. And that is, of course, Batman v Superman. And honestly, I have very mixed feelings about this. Usually, when it comes to these types of movies or Netflix shows, we talk about it on YouTubers Core channel that I'm part of recently, thanks to my friend Chris. And I need to talk this out, but since it's been getting such negative and stuff, and we don't really want to spread the negative, we're not doing a roundtable discussion on Batman v Superman. But I kind of want to talk it out with somebody. So I thought, why not just talk it out with you? Do a little review. Now, in tune with my TV reviews and all, I will be doing a summation of the plot, but then I will be doing something different. There was a lot in this movie, so after I'm done going through bullet points of the plot, I want to discuss some things. And since mixed feelings, they're going to be good and bad. Honestly, I want to hit up 5 good points, 5 bad points, and just see where it goes from there, and then I'll give you my final verdict. Alright, so we don't go for too long, let's go ahead and start this with the plot. Because and of course, spoilers for the movie. I'm going to get into deep spoilers by the end of this plot, so fair warning. We start off with yet again another retelling of Batman's origins, with a little bit of, I think, a dream sequence. I'll get into that later. Anyway, then we go into Man of Steel, and we see it from Bruce's perspective, which was actually pretty cool because everyone's running away while Bruce Wayne is running to it. Typical Batman. Anyway, we find out that Batman's been getting more brutal, and Clark wants to do an article in the paper about it, but Perry says no. And then he says an interesting line, basically, no one wants to see Clark Kent take on Batman, which I know they were implying Superman take on Batman, but honestly, in my opinion, no one wanted to see them fight. They wanted to see them team up. Anyway, moving on. We then see Lois. Later on, we see Lois in the Middle East doing a story. And then crap goes down, people get shot. Some people are turning coat. Seems kind of weird situation, everybody's firing at everybody. And then Lois gets kidnapped, kind of, at gunpoint. And then Superman saves her. But in kind of a way that implies the dude's dead. But then again, everyone's dead in that scene. Alright, so later we get introduced to Lex Luthor, and he finds kryptonite. And he wants to use it as a weapon against Kryptonians. Get the government's official word. Well, the military says, sure, kind of. The senator says no. Also, we then see Lex in a party. He's kind of, I think, invited Bruce, Clark, and Diana. And so then we see Bruce step away to get info from Lex, and we see Clark overhearing Bruce talk with Alfred, so he basically figures out that he's Batman. But then Diana steals it for herself because she needs something on there, which I'll get into in just a minute. Then we see Bruce finally gets it back home and he decrypts it. But when he does, he falls asleep and has like a dream vision thingy where it's a post-apocalyptic scenario. Batman's leading the rebels, but Superman's leading the parademons, the guys that work for Darkseid, which is weird. Then he finds a file on the Justice League. No, crap. He finds one on Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. And we see why Diana wanted the file, because it's got a picture of her back in World War II days with Chris Pine and the cast of the Wonder Woman movie, giving hints to that. But anyway, Lex then oddly puts a bomb into Congress, a congressional hearing that is calling Superman to be accountable for his actions. And he actually goes. But then when Lex sets off the bomb, everyone dies except for Superman. So people are now saying, is he at fault since he's the only survivor? Which is crap, but anyway, moving on. Clark then goes and mopes around, needs a motivational speech or two. Then we see Bruce actually going to LexCorp and stealing their kryptonite for his own use because he wants to build an armor and weapons to fight Superman to take him down because it will be his legacy. And then Lex activates a Kryptonian ship, the one that we saw in Man of Steel, and starts using it for his own gain, learning about Kryptonians and different alien races, and working on a project. Then we see Lex kidnaps Martha Kent, and he reveals that he knows that Bruce and Clark are Batman and Superman, and he's been manipulating them the whole entire time. You know, typical villain monologue. But now he wants them to fight and says that if he doesn't give him the head of Batman, he will kill Martha Kent. Then we see Clark and Bruce fight. Then Bruce wins, but between this weird Martha moment where Clark doesn't say save my mom, he says Martha, which makes Batman go into like a panic attack. And then it's Lois who has to come in and say it's his mom. But that's enough for him to say, okay, we're friends now. I know, it's weird. But let's move on. So then Bruce, they go their separate ways. Bruce goes off to save Mama Kent. And there's a cool moment, I will admit, where he's like, I'm a friend of your son's. And she says, I could have guessed the cape. That was pretty cool. Then we go back to Superman where he confronts Lex, but Lex reveals his backup plan, which is dun 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 Doomsday. And so Doomsday is born, and then through a series of events, Doomsday is fighting the whole Trinity. Well, Diana's fighting Doomsday while Bruce is running, kind of. Because the only thing that can hurt it is Kryptonian weapons, and he used most of his on Clark. Oops. But anyway, he had this giant spear that he was going to use made of pure kryptonite that he was going to impale in Superman and finally win. So Superman uses that and basically sacrifices himself to take out Doomsday. Yes, that's right. Superman dies. More on that later. So then we see Batman confronting Lex. Lex is now completely psycho. He's bald now. But yes, that's right. In like the last 5 minutes of the film, we finally get to see Lex bald. And it's because he's in prison. Yay. But he's completely crazy now, talking basically about Darkseid coming. Then we see Clark / Superman's funeral. It's two separate funerals, and Superman gets this big, elaborate one with this nice looking black coffin with a silver House of L sign. And then Clark just gets a box. But it's at his funeral that Bruce approaches Diana and says, we need to band these heroes together in honor of him. Be better people like he wanted us to be, basically. And that's the movie. Yep. I skipped over a lot, trust me. But those were the basic points of the plot. Now we get to the unique part that I told you about, the new part where it's 5 good, 5 bad. Well, let's start with the good. 1. The actors. Even when the characters were not who I thought they could be, or they weren't taking them in the right direction, or doing the right things with them, I did see that the actors were trying, all of them. Even Jesse Eisenberg. But we'll talk about that more later. But they were all good. I think they all tried their best. Number 2, Batfleck. Batfleck was awesome. I think they did a few things here and there with him that I didn't like, but Ben Affleck as Batman was killer. And he did a stellar job. And those scenes where it was just him and Alfred were really good. And the scene where he saved Mama Kent was really good. And another hero that I really liked, Wonder Woman. She was very brief, but she was total badass. And it was awesome. I gotta give it up to Miss Gal Gadot. I guess that's one of the best parts of the movie. Then there was one other character who I thought that they nailed besides Wonder Woman. Completely perfect, no problems. And is weird one until you see who the actor is, and that is Alfred himself. Yes, Alfred is one of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion. He is stellar on point, and that was really cool to see. Bravo, Mr. Jeremy Irons. And the fifth thing that I want to point out that I actually did like was the Easter eggs. I know with the Justice League they were a little ham fisted, but they never actually said the words Justice or League, which was cool. And they did, like, we got to see brief cameos of all of them. And it wasn't like they came in at the last minute and helped them. It was just they were on a screen, so it was just a quick cameo. It wasn't anything more. Sorry if you can hear that. And it was just really cool. And there were also some more subtle Easter eggs, like there was a Riddler question mark graffitied at one place, and there was a possible hint at Damian with a line about the Wayne's legacy by Alfred. Now let's get to the bad. The bad is, I alluded to some of it when I was going through the plot, but number one, Lex Luthor. No plight against Mr. Eisenberg. He's a good actor, I believe. And I do think that he can make a menacing villain. And granted, at times he was. And he was a good villainous character. It's just that character is not Lex Luthor. I said it before when talking about the trailers, and even now more so after seeing the movie. I believe it even more. And that is, he seemed like the Joker cosplaying as Lex Luthor. It's so weird and not good. Granted, he was creepy and all that, but that's not Lex Luthor. Anyway, next we have his creation, Doomsday. Oh boy, there are multiple things I do not like about Doomsday. First of all, the fact that he's Zod, mutated with Lex's DNA, which is the story of several other DC characters and villains, but not Doomsday. And he was CGI, and I didn't think the CGI was all that good. After he transforms at one point, he does look better, but he still does not look that good. And they did a huge disservice by spoiling it in the trailer. That's another discussion. Moving on to the third bad point that I want to bring up, the melodrama. Holy crap. I understand that everything doesn't have to be Marvel, it doesn't have to be bright, but it doesn't have to be so melodramatic with the whole thing. Like, the Wayne's getting shot for the umpteenth time was done in slow-mo. And we got to see as Thomas Wayne saw the life drain out of Martha's body. Yeah, we got to see that. They saw drawn on it, and it was just so overly dramatic and just tone it down a little, Snyder. Anyway, moving on to another thing that I did not like, and that is the needless death. Holy crap, there was so much death in this. And I don't even just mean like meaningless deaths of non-named characters. There was a lot of that. But there was also one thing that really pissed me off is when Lois was in the Middle East, she had a photographer with her. And the photographer was secretly CIA. She did not know. But he was. And you know what the CIA agent's name was? Jimmy Olsen. Yes, that's right. They introduced Jimmy Olsen to the movies and then killed him like that. Fuck. We are never going to get to see comics Jimmy Olsen in live action. Because while I will admit that the James Olsen on Supergirl has won me over and I think he's kind of cool now, he is not comics Jimmy Olsen. And then another character, Wolverine, that I like, this is the only time that we've actually gotten to see her live action, Mercy. Lex's bodyguard, who is sometimes a robot. And when she was introduced into the comics, was an Amazon warrior. Could have had a lot of potential with the whole fact that Wonder Woman's in the movie, right? Nope. Killed. They just keep freaking killing everyone. Holly Hunter comes in with an interesting point where she doesn't think that Superman is a menace. She doesn't think that he's a bad thing. She just wants him to be accountable, like live up to the American laws. And that's interesting because this movie has a very anti-Superman, pro-Superman. He's a saint. No, he's a demon. And then we have Holly Hunter, who's kind of middle down the road, who just wants him to be accountable for his crimes. Cool character, right? Nope. Gone. Keep killing people. Before I get too mad, let me calm down. And oh yeah, and the last death that I just want to bring up is Superman. Yes, the man himself, the Man of Steel. The man who started this universe just in the last movie. This is the second movie within the universe, and they go ahead and kill the arguably biggest character. I mean, I will admit from a story point, if you look back at the movie, they kind of hint at it the whole way, and it kind of leads up to it. But still, God. Another death in the long list of deaths by Snyder. Like I said, don't want to get too angry, so I'm going to stop right there. And I just want to lastly, for my fifth bad thing, bring up something that I just want to encompass as, what the fuck was that? And that's because I kept saying that while watching this movie. Like, Bruce's apocalyptic dream thingy that was supposed to be a almost vision type thing because it's got Doomsday. Well, it doesn't have Doomsday, but it has the parademons and the Omega symbol, which are all classic Doomsday, which makes me believe that they want us to know that Doomsday is on the way, but they haven't casted him yet. And then we had a quick, I think it was Flash in costume, but it was so weird that the way that they handled it, and they basically hinted at the subplot of the Injustice video game, saying that Lois would die and that Batman would kill her. That was weird. Then, remember when I said that Clark gets motivational speeches that help him get out of his moping? One of them's by Pa Kent, who's dead, and this is, I think, near the Fortress of Solitude, You know it's in the Arctic because there was snow around them, but they never explained it. Then there was a moment where Clark was floating in space, and I think we saw a giant alien head, but that was never explained. And there were just many things that were never explained that just had me going, what the fuck was that? Anyway, let's get to the final verdict because I've been going on for way too damn long. This will be my longest video probably on the channel, but I needed to get it out. My final verdict for this movie is it's not bad. I mean, there are a lot more worse movies, and if you want to talk about superhero movies, Fantastic Four Stick was a lot worse, but it wasn't good. It had good parts, like I said, and in the end, it's just this weird mess that leaves me kind of like, I don't know if I like it or not. So, in the end, on a scale of 1 to 5, I think I'll have to give it a 2.5, kind of middle down the road. Guess you could say average. And it's just leaving me with this weird feeling of, if that makes any sense. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and if you stayed through this whole entire long video, thank you. I needed to vent, and you were the perfect opportunity for it. If you like this video, give it a like. Tell me what you thought. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What did you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, till next time, where I'll most likely be talking about Jonah Hex in Legends of Tomorrow. Alright, till then, see ya, bye.